There are parts of my body that are so rested, so over rested, that I feel like I could deadlift PR, I could squat PR, but then there's also parts of my body that are so freaking fatigued that I can't squat any meaningful weight to depth. So today, still my adductors are sore, which is a problem because this is now day 5, no, day 6. This is day 6 since I did the 10 by 10, and still I'm sore. Now the soreness is about 2 out of 10. The glutes are completely recovered, quads are recovered, everything's recovered except the adductors. How much this has got to do with that? There's probably a big chunk of the reasoning. I'm stretching them to hell and back every single day. So in a way, because of this being a rate limiting step, I am not hitting any other body part correctly, because the rate limiting step is limiting my squatting and deadlifting ability. Now, waist up, I'm benching, I'm doing pullovers, I'm doing pull-ups, I'm doing all sorts of things for the upper body, so that's not affected. Well, you could probably say that I'm not even training that properly, because in a deadlift, your traps and your lats probably get the most amount of stimulation they would. But I'm saying all of this to say that massive volume once a week stresses the living hell out of certain muscles and completely undertrains other muscles. For instance, my quads were ready 3 days ago for another stimulus. My glutes were ready yesterday, probably, fully. But my adductors looks like they're needing 7 days to recover. So this is where you start to get into some of these conversations in your mind when you start to plan out your training program, where you're like, okay, yes, you can do the greatest exercise of all time, squats, right? The most compound, the most holistic, the most involving of all the exercises, and yet there are certain muscles of that movement pattern that get absolutely killed, and then there are others that are kind of like half done. Now, it depends how you do them. It depends, what sort of load and whatever, blah, 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 blah. But 10 sets of 10 doing 100 kilos for 100 reps has left my adductors zero petrol in the tank. And there's other body parts, like if you were to do a heat map, this would be completely like purple, right? Completely like dead. The quads were maybe orange and the glutes were red. So as time progresses, the orange and the red areas start to get sorted out and they become green, but still my adductors are red on that heat map. So you start to kind of wonder, okay, so is it good to go hard, to go that heavy for the sake of destroying one certain body part and then undercooking all the others? Now, you could probably make an argument, okay, yeah, no worries. Do your 10 sets of 10, completely kill your adductors, and then as the greens pop up in the quads and the glutes, you can do accessory exercises to target that, right? So you could do some glute bridges. You could perhaps do some, lunges maybe for the glutes, and then you could do some leg extensions and things like that. The point with that is that it becomes very, very tricky to plan out. So all of these elements, all of these body parts are green at the same time, fully recovered, so you can hit it again with the 10 sets of 10. This is the trouble with me. So for today, I did something that I was quite surprised about. I did 220 kilos. I did 220 kilos for a set of 5 on a really, really high box squat, right? So it's 19-inch box squat, it's the bench. So I'm not really excited about that. I don't think I've done that before. But it's not really that exciting because I don't get excited about quarter squats. Now I can do that for 220, but I could probably struggle with 140 for ATG. So, and the ATG is where the adductors and the lower back and all these other, difficulties begin. So This is where you need to start to worry about some of these goals that you have. Okay, you want to do splits, you want to do 10 sets of 10. Well, now all of a sudden we have, let's say, overtrained one area of the body and completely undertrained the other parts of the body. Now, the very next thought that I have is, okay, so fast forward 6 months of this, maybe these adductors start to catch up, and all of a sudden you start to have equal recovery times for all of these body parts. Because you could probably make an argument that the reason why the adductors are so cooked is because they're weak. Now, are they weak? What else have we done that has basically said the same thing, that my adductors are weak? I am completely crap with wide stance squats. If that is not a good connection and a good explanation that that is the weakness on me, I don't know what is. Think about this. I do 100 reps with squats. And what I end up with is very, very, very sore and demolished, completely destroyed adductors. Maybe this is the whole reason I should be doing 10 sets of 10, because the weakness clearly is there. Because when I go wide in the wide stance squats, what's happening there? Are the adductors also the limiting step there? So this is the good thing about high volume training, high rep training, is that you start to get exposed. You start to really, really get exposed on what's actually the lagging body part. I could be wrong in my thinking. I could be just basically underestimating that ATG squats are, no matter how you do it, no matter who you are, it's always going to cost the adductors the most, no matter how you go about it. Maybe that's just the case in whatever you do. Even in 6 months' time, you're always going to have really lagging healing times for the adductors. I frankly don't know, but what I feel though is that a large portion of me is so freaking recovered that I could do 220 kilos for a set of 5 on the really high box squat. Now, why do I say I'm really recovered? Because the core felt strong. I felt strong the moment I walked out with it. I felt strong going to a 19-inch box. So my core is ready to brace against some really heavy stuff. But if I was to go a little lower, I would crumble. My adductors in a deep stretch would just give out on me. It would be uncomfortable. It would, frankly, I'd be scared of tearing. So I am tempted. This is the trouble. Like, I really want to get back to the good mornings, and I really want to get back to the wide stance squats. But I really also want to go back to 10 sets of 10 on Saturday again. After my night shift again, I want to go and do 10 sets of 10 again and just compare, same weight, I'm not doing anything different. 10 sets of 10 with 100 kilos. And I want to see if I can recover a little bit quicker. I'm frankly really surprised that it's taken me so long, because I didn't come from a completely untrained state, man. Like, I had a week of sickness. Okay, that's fine. But before that, I was doing sets of 10 with everything, man. So much work in the wide stance squats, and then I do this and I feel like I've never trained. That's the bit that doesn't make sense to me. This is the bit that really is puzzling me. And so I want to do it again, same thing as I did last week, and I want to see, my God, can I actually recover a little bit quicker? My gut feeling is sure I should be adapting a little bit better, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like I am not training really well at all. Last week I was sick. This week I'm sore as hell from the squats. I feel like I've done 2 training sessions in 2 weeks in terms of squats and deadlifts. I've done plenty of work with the bench and whatever. I've got sore pecs and whatnot, but I don't know. And then for whatever reason, I'm sure that these phones are listening to us. I'm sure they read our minds to a certain degree. I started getting what's his name? Mike Mensa. Mike Mensa. Is it Mike Mensa? Jesus Christ, my brain stopped just then. The guy that talks about really infrequent training, really high intensity, low volume. He talks about doing legs like once a fortnight, that kind of thing. So he talks about how for a natural athlete, you should be training with less frequency, less volume, and just really high intensity. I struggle to process that, because that type of training is like really close to no training at all, it seems. How can training once a freaking fortnight grow a muscle body part? It's like, I don't know. That completely removes the importance of the central nervous system getting stronger. That is completely a muscular thought process, because in order for you to be strong, to exhibit maximum strength, it is a skill. It is a neuromuscular expression. What Mike Mensa is talking about is completely just not giving a crap about the neuro side, completely just removing that and saying it's a muscular expression. And of course, in strength, that's not the case. You need to be able to be under the bar a more frequent frequency, for lack of a better term. You need to be able to practice these things often in order for you to be good at them. Because if you just go from 14 days to 14 days apart, you mean like, okay, the muscles are fully recovered, everything is fully recovered, but you are going to be unstable under the bar. That's my gut feeling. I could be wrong about that. I mean, I know he's a well-respected guy, and he's got a lot of followers, and I know Dorian Yates followed his training, although that's a completely different, biology process. Like if you're taking drugs, that's completely different to me. But I struggle with the thought of training once every 2 weeks, or I think he was saying once every 3 days, and then you train a different body part, and then another 72 hours, and then so it's like Monday you train, let's say, your push-pull. On Thursday you train your shoulders, and then you're talking about Monday again you're training legs. So you're like training legs week and a half apart. I don't know, but I started getting these videos, and I'm listening to this, and I'm like, maybe he's right. Maybe like if you really go German volume on yourself and you annihilate your body part, maybe you do need freaking week and a half to recover. I don't know. I frankly don't know. So I'm gonna try and test this out over the next few weeks, because right now, like after 10 sets of 10, I can't do good mornings. There's no way I can do good mornings. I feel like I'm gonna tear my damn adductors. So. Anyway, I'm aiming to do 10 sets of 10 of squats on Saturday again, and I'm desperately interested to see whether I can decrease the recovery time. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I'm stretching here again. Maybe this is the problem. I kill myself with 10 sets of 10, and then I come in and I stretch the muscle. And maybe this is prolonging recovery and not doing what I was thinking opposite, that this was actually improve the recovery. Maybe this intense stretching that I'm doing 4 times a day, 3 times a day, 2 times a day is actually making the whole healing process longer. I don't know. Having said all of that, I will continue to work on the splits. I'm convinced that my adductors need to get annihilated, so I'll stretch them. I'll kill them every week, and I'll see how it goes. Let's see if it works. I'm putting all of my conjugate lower body business on hold for the moment, and I'm gonna try and kill it with 10 sets of 10 and everyday stretching and see what happens. All the other stuff, the upper body stuff, is still the conjugate. Still trying to rotate all these different exercises. Look for weaknesses according to my body morphology, and let's see how I go. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.